Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillah rabbil alamin wassalatu wassalamu ala ashrafil anbiya wal mursalin wa man tabi'ahum bi ihsan ila yawmid din, amma ba'd. So in the first rak'ah, or the third rak'ah, Hafiz just recited, mentions the story of Musa alayhi salam when he got his nubuwwah. So it brings us, what is the meaning of qasas? Stories. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala narrates some of the stories from previous people and the messengers and how their people reacted to them. How you think the people of Musa alayhi salam reacted to when he took his message to them? The people of Musa alayhi salam, how they reacted? What people of Musa alayhi salam were Bani Israel, and they were in the bondage. They were in trouble. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave him task to go to Fir'aun, who was arrogant, to give him the message. So his task was to take Bani Israel out of the bondage of Fir'aun. That was the task he was given. So obviously his people who were in trouble at that time, they were recipients of him. But the people of Fir'aun and Fir'aun himself, who was arrogant one, he did not accept. And he had to be. But the people of Musa alayhi salam, Bani Israel, how did they follow him? Did they stay loyal to him? Did they stay obedient to him throughout? No. They saw the signs. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave Prophet Musa alayhi salam certain signs, and they saw that with their own eyes, and they witnessed it. And they followed him when the sea was parted for them. And they walked with him, and they got to the other side. But when they got to the safety, to the other side, they gave him the hardest time. And when he left them to get the Sharia from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they started worshipping a calf. So all of the prophets, all of the stories in Quran, they are not just stories, they are something for our guidance, something to remind us that how human being behave. And fast forward to the last prophet, our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when his message came, what did his people do? When he took the message to them, he was Sadiq al-Amin for 40 years among them. But when he took the message to them, how they reacted? They denied him, right? They didn't want to believe him. Just a few. And the ones who were few, what meant for them accepting Islam at that time, accepting his message, they were subjected to torture, punishment, all kind of punishment. What happened to Bilal radhiyallahu ta'ala? What happened to Khabbab radhiyallahu ta'ala? They were subjected to the extreme torture, punishment from their masters at the time because they were slaves. For what reason? To give up on that religion that they say Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is one. La ilaha illallah. So throughout, and then when more people came in, they did a boycott for them. Not only for a day or two or month or a week, it lasted for three years. So much so that they cannot get the food or the basic necessities or anything that related. They boycotted their businesses, their trade, everything they had to do with anybody. It was a complete boycott. For 3 years, they had to go through and endure that punishment just for saying La ilaha illallah. So human nature is the same throughout the history since Adam alayhi salam. If we look at the stories that are told to us and fast forward to today, what we are witnessing with our own eyes. Our brothers and sisters and the children especially of Gaza, just for saying La ilaha illallah, they are being starved. They are being blocked from any kind of facility that one can take for granted in this dunya. And what is this for us? Since Alhamdulillah we are living in the comfort of our homes, and past few days we have seen too many a lot of organizations come and describe the situation over there, which is all true, but it cannot be real, because to us it is just a story. But the ones who are going through it, because the Sahaba who went through that torture, they were the pioneers of this religion. Because of their steadfastness, this religion is here today. Because of their persistence, we survived. Because of their sacrifices, we have this beautiful being in our lives. And none of them are born Muslims. So we, the born Muslims, we sometimes take it as granted. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sends those tests towards us so that we can be awakened from our sleep, or from the ignorance sometimes we fall into, that everything is all good. And every time Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sends tests for us, for the Muslims or for the believers, something good came out of that eventually. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala raises the ranks of the ones who are going through that suffering, and eventually, inshallah, for the rest of Ummah. And this is what we do not want to take this as just a story. Things are real, and it needs our attention, inshallah, as a Muslim, as a community, everything together, inshallah, for whatever we can do. Because the human nature, it does not change, and it does not change. وَالْعَصْرِ إِنَّ الْإِنسَانَ لَفِي خُسْرٍ إِلَّا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالْحَقِّ وَتَوَاصَوْا